everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul. With me, as always, from Big Town Sports, we have Zach Moore. Zach, good evening. How are you today?
Good, man. How's it going for you?
Doing all right. Glad to see the Orioles get a win out of that series against Houston. It was a hard-fought series. They could have won games two and three, but the pitching really let them down. It's funny because the national media starts giving the Orioles a little bit of attention for having the best ERA in baseball since mid-July, and they gave up 26 runs the first three games. But look, Houston was embarrassed after that series against the Orioles the previous weekend. They came in firing on all cylinders. They had a bunch of home runs in the series. The Orioles were able to salvage that final game. They got Boston coming to town beginning tomorrow. Hopefully that'll be a good series for the team and some guys coming back. So that's something to be excited about. So, all in all, 3-3 week. A pipe dream to try and get back into the postseason at this point. Hopefully they can scratch and claw their way back to 500. I'm not going to count them out because, like I said, they've got some additions coming back. But before we get into all that, friendly reminder, today's show is brought to you by helpmygamblingproblem.org. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Also brought to you today by County Sports Zone. High school sports season is officially underway in Maryland, and all year long you can find scores, schedules, and updates for every sport and every school all throughout the state at countysports.zone. Countysports.zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyotadealer.com. So we're not going to bury the lead. Last week we did that a little bit. The big story coming out of Birdland this weekend, Samuel Basallo, the freshly 21-year-old rookie catching sensation. Orioles signed him out of the international draft in 2021. He signs an 8-year, $67.5 million extension with the Orioles. With escalators, you could see that number increase to $88 million. He got a $5 million signing bonus from the ball club. Press conference yesterday. A lot of the players went into the press conference and stood there and watched, which I think is probably par for the course. I don't think we need to read anything into that. But yeah, it's the first long-term extension in the Mike Elias era. It's the first homegrown extension for the Orioles first homegrown extension since, I guess, Nick Markakis and Brian Roberts, but the first significant extension since Chris Davis in 2016. Yep. So the ball club doing right by their youngest, their youngest player in Samuel Basallo, inking him to an 8-year extension, the highest pre-arbitration extension for a catcher in the history of the game. Just 4 games into his big league career. Now, is this something that you think they've had in the works for quite a while, or was it like they watched the first 4 games and they were like, no, this kid's got something special. Let's ink him up now.
It's funny is when we watched his first hit, remember when the cameras panned over to his dad and he had 2 phones up to his ears and people were joking like one's the agent, one's Mike Elias. Like it's very well possible that was true.
Right.
This is definitely something in the works. I've heard a rumor and I've been trying to find concrete evidence on it. I've been unable to. Nothing says yes, nothing says no. But I heard a rumor that if you do an extension prior to your debut, you were ineligible for Rookie of the Year. So could be why they waited just a couple games. Would also, Roman Anthony kind of did the same thing. Christian Campbell did the same thing. So it kind of does show that maybe it's true, but like, again, I haven't been able to find it on paper anywhere that it is. But I mean, look, they've seen this guy for how many years now? And he's been with the team in spring training. He's been down in Norfolk. They're very well versed to who he is. It's not like he's just been flying up, like Juan Soto and flying up to the organization in 1 year. They know who he is, and they've been waiting for this moment. And when he came up there and didn't look overmatched and then just, 108 off the bat on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball up near his chin, at that point, you're just like, nothing's going to phase this kid. Let's just get it done. So, I'm excited about it, to be completely honest with you. He's definitely deserving. Not that others aren't, but typically you do see Latin players sign early compared to American players, and there's grumblings about why that is and whatnot. But look, these guys, they don't grow up here. So when they get life-changing money, everybody on the table is ready to rock and roll with it. And look, he hits free agency again at what, age 29 or 30 if they take that option. You come out here and you hit 200, 300 home runs before you're 30. I know that's a lofty goal there. You're looking at another huge contract. So what does he care?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be 28 by the time that contract is up, which means he's still going to have an opportunity to get another big contract, like you said. And you look at the swing speed, you look at the bat to ball ability, the way that he can drive the ball all over the ballpark. It makes sense. It makes sense. Now, of course, there's also the grumblings that you hear from the fans where they did this because this was the easy one to do because he's not a Boris client. And of course you can get him locked up. You can get him locked up and say, hey, you can tell your fan base, look, we're building around a young player. But then you have everybody else saying, well, what about Gunnar? And what about Adley and Holiday and Westberg? And
listen, they made their choice of who they wanted as their agent, knowing that this was going to happen. Like it's not a secret that Scott Boras operates this way, and they have extended a contract to Gunnar Henderson. It's not the terms aren't well known, but it has happened. They have remember we started hearing grumblings during the offseason about Adley Rutschman with an extension. That went away pretty quickly. So. And then you have that Twitter feed that a lot of people really think is Mike Elias, that MLB executive burner, basically came out and said yesterday that those two were offered a contract and one bet on himself and it panned out and the other one bet on himself and it hasn't. So that kind of tells you that people around baseball know that these two guys have gotten contract extensions. So the difference is, Gunnar probably was offered, we'll say like a $90 million deal or something when he was a rookie. He bet on himself. It panned out. You make that offer now to Jackson Holiday, why would he take it? Right? That's just how Boras operates. So it's a give or take thing. Basallo was blessed. The Orioles were blessed that he didn't have Scott Boras.
Well, Adley doesn't have Boras either, right?
No, but I mean, Adley was probably presented a strong contract offer where maybe him, his family, his agent thought, I'm supposed to be the next best thing in the world. That's a little too low. And then turn it down and say like, hey, let's wait a year, see what happens, blah, blah. And then, he gets hurt with a hand or whatever they tried to hide last year. And he struggled and he's kind of come back and he's had injury issues this year and struggled again. So he may have costed himself a lot of money. And that's basically what that MLB executive account was talking to, was he tried to bet on himself and it didn't pan out. So we don't really know. The Orioles operate in silence, and they do just like the Ravens. You don't know what's coming out of the castle. You don't know what's coming out of the warehouse. Things kind of just happen to come out. And to sit here, and I understand people's frustration. Contracts have probably been offered to these guys, probably more than those guys, but more than half the team has Scott Boras, so that's not going to help us at all.
Yeah. And Sean Whipple, he says, if extended before debut, you're still able to win Rookie of the Year, but team can't get PPI.
I could believe that.
Yeah, I think that seems more realistic. It doesn't seem realistic to me that somebody can get a contract extension, and if they, depending on the timing of it, they're ineligible to win Rookie of the Year. I don't.
Baseball just has weird rules because, like, say like a junior college guy, if you sign with a free agent. I mean, not free agent, an agent, you cannot come back to school, even if you don't declare for the draft. So, like, baseball has such weird rules around all of this crap. Anything doesn't surprise me.
And to the point that you made about taking advantage, Joe Racky, some people think the extension is taking advantage of a young Latin kid and agents looking to prove themselves. I don't know, man. It's the largest.
That's business. I mean, let's be completely honest. That's business. That's how businesses are run.
Yes, and it's also, it's not for nothing. Like he got the largest pre-arbitration extension for a catcher in the history of the game.
Right.
So I mean that
fourth largest contract in Orioles history.
Yeah. So I mean that should tell you something. I mean the kid had 4 games under his belt by the time they signed him. So it's
one thing if you want to give a guy $67 million who played what we talked about 4 games.
Yeah.
What if you gave him $200 million and those 4 games are really good and then he just sucked?
Yeah. What if
Like,
you?
then
What if you?
fans
No
are
offense, but
really pissed.
what if you gave him 200 million and he turned into Adley?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and like I hate to say, because I like Adley, but the numbers aren't lying to you. You know, like he's been better since the beginning of June, but he's been hurt twice since the
Yep.
beginning of June. So what if that happens? I have no issue with the deal. I'm excited about it. And then David Rubenstein's comments on the radio, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said, we're showing people we have the wherewithal to do this. These are deals that we're looking to do, and it's symbolic of what we plan to do moving forward. Now, you
I
can
thought that
take
was a
it.
little cryptic.
Well, he says, what do you mean cryptic?
Like, not necessarily taking a shot at Scott Boras, but like taking a shot at Scott Boras. Like, yes, we're willing to do these if you're willing to play ball.
Yeah.
Boras just isn't willing to play ball. I mean, that's just how he operates, and he's the best agent in the game for a reason. He's got $5.5 billion worth of contracts this year. So it's not like he's new at this. It's not like he's trying something different than nobody else. Is like his plan works, obviously.
Right.
So the Orioles, the ball is always in Scott Boras's court. That's what sucks.
Well, and so when he says this is symbolic, we hope this is symbolic of how we operate moving forward. Symbolic in that we want to extend our young players, or symbolic in that we want to spend some money.
Hopefully both.
Yeah,
Extend the right guys. Don't just throw out contracts just to throw them out, just to please the fans. But if somebody's worth it, if I'm not saying come out here and extend Keegan Aiken or anything like that. And if you do, whatever. But let's make a run at Trevor Rogers here and see what happens. Trevor might bet on himself, right? Trevor might get a contract offer this offseason and might just say, hey, I had a really good year, and 20 million a year sounds really good right now, but what if I come out and do this again next year? Now that's 30, 35 a year. Like, it's a gamble. It's a big gamble. But I mean, this is the game that players and agents play. I mean, it's no fault to a GM or an owner if they turn these kind of contracts down, because they're taking a shot on themselves. And sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, and let's talk about Trevor Rogers. He goes out there today, and first 2 innings, he looks like Trevor Rogers. He looks fantastic. Then you get to the 3rd inning, walks a couple of guys, gives up a couple of hits. He gives up a run, gets out of it only giving up the 1 run, but he threw a lot of pitches, and his velocity was down. And you're sitting there, and you're like, oh man, is the other shoe about to hit? Is the other shoe about to hit the ground? And all he does is go out and give you 7 innings again, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, a season high 9 strikeouts. He didn't have his best stuff today. It was clear he didn't have his best stuff today. But that's what great pitchers do, is they find ways to keep you in the ball game and win ball games. He's now 7-2. That ERA is 140. The WHIP is 0.8. I saw something. I can't remember if it was Jake Rill or Jacob Calvin-Meyer or Andy Kotzka. One of those 3 guys put it out there today before the game started that Trevor Rogers is the first pitcher since Walter Johnson to go the first 12 starts of the season with an ERA 140 or 140 or better. I'm sorry, 150 or better, with a WHIP of 0.880 or better, and 0 or 1 hit batter.
Mm-hmm.
Like Walter Johnson. When you're in the same breath as Walter Johnson, you were doing something seriously right. Orioles go on, they win that game today 3-2. Gunnar hits the home run in the 1st inning. They only get 2 runs the rest of the way. But Luis Vasquez with his first home run of the year. I think it was his first career. It wasn't his first career home run, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Back-to-back nights, and the Orioles gets their first career home run. Luis Vasquez tanking one into the bullpen area. Last night, Jeremiah Jackson, that 430. He hit that ball, and I went, oh, my God. Just the sound off the bat. And where I saw it land, I said, that's 430, 440 feet. Sure enough, 439 feet. That was an absolute bomb off of his bat.
I'm glad you brought him up, because that's a perfect example sometimes just going somewhere else and figuring it out. And I know we want to kind of gripe on Mike Elias for letting Kyle Stowers go. Ryan O'Hearn came here and wasn't very good, and then turned his career around. Mm-hmm. Jeremiah Jackson for 5 years with the Angels wasn't very good, and he came here and turned it around. Kyle Stowers was was pretty good here, but he wasn't at the elite level. I shouldn't even say elite, but I just did. He wasn't at the level that he's playing at now. Sometimes it's just the guy. It only takes one person to see one little thing to change it all for you, and it's not on anybody else. Like they had years to try and fix Kyle, and they just couldn't. Kyle couldn't fix himself. The Orioles couldn't fix him. Same with Jeremiah Jackson. The Angels had years to fix him and just couldn't. And then he comes here and just one thing worked. So those kind of things happen, man. I know people get a little upset about it, and rightfully so. It sucks when it happens to you, but I mean, so far it's been two of them in our way between O'Hearn and Jackson so far.
Yeah, and you know what? After that slow start out in San Diego, O'Hearn's hitting 275. I think he's got like a 371 base percentage out there for San Diego. Ramon Laureano, 333. He's got 4 home runs, 20 homer season for that guy. And he was signed to be a 4th outfielder for the last place Orioles. So just kind of like you said.
You know what's funny is I remember when he signed, and I made a video about it, and some random person on my YouTube commented and said, "Hey, I played with Ramon Laureano in high school, and he's finally healthy, and you're going to be shocked at what he does this year." And I was just like, "Oh, cool. Like you played with Ramon Laureano. Nice." And so I was like, "Oh, what kind of injury was he dealing with?" He said back. He was rushed back way too fast. That's why he got popped for the steroids. He's finally healthy after years, and you're going to be shocked. And I was just like, "Okay, cool." I am shocked right now.
Having the best year. He's having the best year of his career. And he had some good years out in Oakland. He's having the best year of his career all across the board. So I'm really happy for him. Sucks that the Orioles didn't keep him with that $6.5 million option, but you win some, you lose some. This season the Orioles win some and lose a lot, unfortunately. But hopefully that'll change next year. Laura said,
I think we just lost you.
I muted myself trying to. Something popped up on the screen randomly. I was trying to click on Laura's comment, but Laura Topliff says Adley effed up. Now he's hurt and he's not going to get that payday. I mean,
Still could.
He's not a free agent until 2027, so he's got 2 more years after this year. I still think he's going to get a payday. It might not be here, but I'm not putting it past him to right the ship for himself. And speaking of that, Bob Nightingale, in his article today, said that Adley's going to be one of the top players on the trade market. We keep hearing people say that just because they signed Basallo to an extension doesn't mean that they don't have room for Adley. Well, when you factor in the fact that their first 2 picks were college catchers, you should be able to read the writing on the wall. And I think Adley is reading the writing on the wall based on just kind of the way I've seen him in the dugout the last couple of days. Also, the way that when they asked him, when they asked him if anybody's approached him about a contract extension, he said nope. Essentially, so it's
he deflected it back towards Basallo, which I thought was professional. He didn't want to take the spotlight away because I think they asked him that the same day that Sammy signed, and it's like, this is Sammy's day. Don't ask me these kind of questions, kind of thing. Like, let's not take any spotlight off him whatsoever. And I thought that was really good. A guy like Rutschman, if the offer is something you can't refuse, he'll go. But you want to stack your team. You want to be a winner. You want to stack your team with the most amount of winning players or good players that you can find. And if you already have one that's pretty decent in the building, you're not going to look to trade him. You need to be blown away to trade Adley Rutschman. College catchers in the first 2 rounds or not, they're still a couple years away. Adley still has a couple years left on his contract. So he's going to play here. And hopefully he continues to kind of get back to where he was playing well. And you don't just let go of talent just because you think you might have a logjam. Figure it out later. Boston did it with Bregman, so
they're going to keep 3 catchers on the roster next year.
That's fine with me.
Alex Jackson's going to be here. Is it Alec or Alex Jackson?
I know.
He's going to be here next year. Basallo and Rutschman, if they don't trade Rutschman, I'm not inclined to think that they plan to.
They're going to try and make it all work with Mountcastle, Mayo, Basallo, Adley, you name it. Like I said, you're trying to stack really good players unless something blows you away, because you're not just getting rid of these guys for nothing.
So Mountcastle's getting traded, in my opinion.
You think so?
I think he's getting well, and
Has
I mean,
Mayo
unless
done anything to make you want to trade Ryan Mountcastle?
no, but I think more so because of the idea, and again, like you said, though, you can find room for everybody because you can play Basallo at first, you can play Rutschman at first, you can play Mayo at first, you can play Mountcastle at first, you can DH somebody. Do you think they have any intention of giving Mayo a shot in the outfield?
Mayo needs to worry about making the team next year right now.
Yeah, yeah. The
Like
bat has not stepped up like
he's
we hoped
done
it would.
nothing to cement himself for the 2026 roster. I understand he was a great AAA hitter,
Mhm.
but right now, like your defense has been getting better. You still missed a routine throw yesterday. Then you threw. We saw what everybody said you did at third base, and you spiked 2 throws into the dirt, basically.
Mhm.
You're Basallo's a better first baseman already. Your right-handed first baseman should be Mountcastle. Again, I don't see where Kobe Mayo has a spot on this roster. And I think he's the most expendable player. Look, make him a headliner and go get Bubba Chandler or Jose Soriano, or swing big here and make
Mhm.
him a headliner. And then if you got to throw in, like Honeycutt or Bradfield or something like that, like not that you want to, but if you had to land one of these top end arms, you make that deal. You're not making that deal with Ryan Mountcastle involved.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. He's got 1 year compared to 5. And teams like the power aspect of it, but right now, I mean, he's on the bottom of the hill and he's got to run up, and everyone else around him is playing at a high level, including Mountcastle. So
Mhm.
I'm not penciling him in for 26 until he figures it out.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fair. We just assume Mayo is going to be part of this team because it's his time, but he hasn't done anything with his time. I
Yeah.
don't have his numbers in front of me, but he can't be slashing much better than 200, 300.
I
You know?
pulled it since Mountcastle came off the IL. I tweeted this out earlier. Where is it?
Well, like you said, I mean,
Since Mountcastle came off the IL, he's hitting 304 with 8 RBIs. I didn't pull Mayo's stats today. Let me pull that real quick. But prior to today's game, Mayo was hitting 133. He was 6 for 45 with just 2 RBIs and a 480 OPS. So, again, I mean, is he feeling the heat or
just
what?
you saying just since Mountcastle came off the IL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and
So since
like you
August
said,
8th, he's hitting 133 in 13 games with
that's
just 6
awful.
hits.
And Mountcastle, like you said, 10-game hitting streak, hits in 12 of his 14 games since coming off the IL, and it's gotten to the point where you see Mountcastle come to the plate and he's delivering.
Yeah.
He's been getting hits with guys on base, and that's what you need
Yep.
somebody to do. And he plays, despite the fact that he missed 2 balls in the dirt thrown by Gunnar today,
Which is very rare for him.
yeah, but he also hasn't been over there a lot.
Right.
They've been playing. I know that he practices, but you can't simulate game
Right.
speed.
Especially
And
those kind of plays.
mhm. And they're plays that he usually makes, but he did miss 2 of them today. And speaking of which, not to get off topic too much, but Gunnar had 2 plays today that could have ended the errorless streak. They both went for hits.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was a hometown scorer? Being friendly.
Probably the first one. Yeah,
The first one,
he threw it in the dirt on purpose. Those are the throws that Volpe keeps throwing 14 rows up into the stands right now. So I'm sure that's been a hot topic among the infield practice. Like, hey, if you get a ball, it's really flying away from you. Your balance isn't that great. Let's just throw it in the dirt because 9 times out of 10 our guys are going to catch it. When they miss like they did today, that is on you when that happens. I will still take that rather than you throwing it 14 rows up.
Right.
That's just me. Because the guy didn't advance. So that one I probably would have went with an error. The second one I thought was just an outstanding play, and he just turned around and just tried to fire it. I didn't even think he had a shot. But his arm is so strong, it was right there, and he had the guy. And that was probably Mountcastle's worst play of the year.
Yeah, that ball went straight into Mountcastle's glove.
Straight in his glove. And it was just a bad play. And and he'll tell you he catches that 900 or 99 out of 100 times. Mountcastle will catch that. Today just happened to be that one, which sucked. I wouldn't give that an error. I would probably give Mountcastle an error on that because it seemed really routine. But the play itself, I thought, was outstanding on Gunner's end. But I definitely would have gave him probably an error on the first one just because Mountcastle missed it, even though I feel like he probably should have caught it.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Gunner hasn't made an error since he made 2 on June 8th. I mean, we're talking 2.5 months now without an error. I think he's up to like 255 chances, something like that, without an error. The
I
guy's
think it's
playing,
one of the longest streaks in baseball.
yeah, the guy is playing shortstop at an elite level. He's making solid contact, getting his base hits. He's hitting close to 400 with runners in scoring position. This is something we were griping on at the beginning of the year. Like Gunner just wasn't doing his job. And then it's almost like he took that personally, even though he has no idea. He probably knows who you are. He has no idea who I am. But he it's like people were talking. What's that?
Wow. Go ahead and finish. You'll love this, but go ahead and finish.
But it seemed like he could kind of hear the whispers about how, he wasn't getting the job done in big situations. He's got the most RBIs in baseball amongst shortstops, I think, over the last 2 months. So,
So the last time he made an error, he's hitting 295 since that day, June 8th. 41 RBIs, 7 home runs. I like this. 29 walks to 49 strikeouts. I think that's great. The runners in scoring position, he's hitting 450 with 37 RBIs since June 8th.
Yeah.
Now, is that a John Mabry effect, or is that just Gunnar Henderson locking in?
I mean, that's around the time that John Mabry came in.
June 1st. Yep.
Yeah.
June 1st.
Yeah, I mean, one, you know the Gunnar is the best player on the team.
Yeah.
He's the best player. You look at their offensive leaders in every single category, it's Henderson across the board. He's the best player on the team. So he was going to come back to his norm at some point. I think Mabry has an impact on that. I still think that the power is severely lacking, and I think that that's mainly because of the fact that he doesn't have any protection. Hitting behind him. He's been hitting third all year, and they're going to be able. They're going to make their pitches to Gunnar because they know he's the guy that is providing the protection for everybody else. So they're going to make their pitches to Gunnar. I expect them to sign somebody, or if Basallo takes that next step next year and he's hitting fourth behind him. I expect Gunner's power numbers will go back up, and he's very likely to have a 2020 season this year. He's got 19 stolen bases after the 2 today. He's got what is that? 16 home runs now.
16, yeah.
16. So he's got to hit 4 more. Now he's only hit 16 through the first basically 5 months of the season, but he's got to hit 4 more the rest of the way. He'll do it. I think he'll do it.
Yeah.
Now Gunnar.
I think Gunnar Henderson is a 30-30 player.
Yeah, I think he is too. I think he is too. He just isn't this year. But I mean, the on base percentage is up. The average is where you expect it to be. He's in about 285. He just looks like Gunnar Henderson aside from the power. Now, here's the thing, and fans have been putting this out there. Somebody said it made me chuckle. We traded Manny Machado for a back end starter and a bag of potato chips. You cannot let that happen with Gunnar. Give that man a blank check.
I think that's fair.
I agree. I said to myself 2 years ago when Gunnar was in the midst of winning Rookie of the Year, I said to myself, if they do with Gunnar what they did with Manny Machado, I may never forgive this organization.
Yeah,
because Manny's one of my all-time favorite Orioles. When he was here, he was bar none my favorite Oriole, and like seeing him leave, I was so upset about it, and I thought it was such. I think it's the biggest misstep in the history of the franchise that they didn't.
What do you think is bigger, Harper leaving or Machado leaving? Now, Harper's going to the Hall of Fame, but I don't think Machado's that far off. He keeps having a couple more good years.
Machado's going to the Hall of Fame. I don't think there's any doubt he's going to the Hall of Fame. Because Harper, but that's the thing. Harper left, and they won the World Series immediately.
Yeah,
after he
crazy.
Left. He left, and they won the World Series immediately because they had Juan Soto, who basically replaced Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, they didn't sign Harper. They offered him a big contract, but they knew he wasn't going to sign that. And they had Juan Soto, who they thought was going to be just as good, if not better. And then now Juan Soto is getting $70 million a year.
Yeah.
I think for the impact they had on the franchise, the bigger misstep is letting Machado leave.
Mm-hmm.
Machado could have been. I mean, he could have been in the same breath as Cal Brooks. Like he could like
He was definitely in the same breath as Brooks defensively.
yeah. I mean the way how good he is defensively, the fact that he's going to hit 270 to 300 every year with 30
Yeah.
plus home runs every year, and like he's a force in the middle of your lineup, like not
He's a
building
leader.
around right. Not building around Manny Machado, in my opinion, is the biggest misstep in the history of the franchise. And
Yeah.
I'm an Orioles fan, so I'll continue to watch them forever. But I'll never forget the fact that they blew that. They absolutely blew that, and it's we wouldn't have had to go through that rebuild, in my opinion, if they signed Machado and built around him.
Did you know he's only ever hit under 260 just 3 times in his career?
I think it was 2017,
2017, 2019, first year with San Diego, but he was hurt that year, I think.
Yeah.
And then 2023 again, he was hurt for a good bit, hit 258.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so only 3 times in his career. That's incredible.
But every year, I mean, he's going to finish his career with close to 5. He's got what, like 360 home runs right now?
363. And he's a career 280 hitter.
Career 280 hitter, 363 home runs. He's won how many
1,100 RBIs.
1,100 RBIs. How many Gold Gloves has he won? 5?
I don't know. I think so.
And he won a Platinum Glove award in 2013.
Yeah.
I mean, Manny Machado is he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If he plays 5 more seasons, and in 5 years he's going to be 37. You know,
he could definitely still do it.
He plays 5 more years at his production. He's going to have 500 home runs. He's going to have 1,500 RBI. He's probably going to have 400, 500 doubles, and he's close to 3,000 hits with a whole bunch of Gold Gloves.
He's got 2,000 hits right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you get roughly 150. What's 150 times 5? Not very good at math.
750.
750. So you would be really close to 3,000.
Yeah.
You'd have to do more than 150 a year, which I think is probably doable. He sits around 160 to 170 as it is. Sometimes he's hitting up at around 180.
I mean, look, you play that kind of defense, you hit 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there's only 6 players in the history of the game have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. Manny Machado, right. I think Manny could stop playing right now and he would go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's how good I think he is. I think that he could stop playing right now and go to the Hall of Fame. He's arguably a top 5 third baseman in the history of baseball. And like
John Kay makes a good point. We forgot. I mean, I don't think we forgot who owned, but it did impact the franchise pretty bad.
Well, and here's the thing, though. Yes, it impacted the franchise. Do you remember that Ken Rosenthal article about how the Orioles offered Manny 8 years, $72 million? I think it was after 2012 or 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted an extra $1 million a year. He wanted 8 for 81, something like that. And they were like, no. Like, that's because of who the owner was.
Yeah.
That's I have the wrong comment up. That's because of who the owner was. There's no way that, like, if Manny Machado were a rookie last year for the Orioles, Boris isn't his agent, and he's putting up the same year this year that he put up in 2013. They'd give him 8 years, $105 million, $106 million. You know, there's not a doubt in my mind. So, and like you can hear in my voice how much I love Manny Machado. I don't care what he did throwing the bat at Josh Donaldson when he was 21, 22 years old.
I thought that was awesome.
Ventura. Yeah. I mean, they were throwing at him. They were obviously throwing at him. He knew he wasn't going to hit Donaldson with the bat, but he's like, let you know, I'm not going to take your crap.
He didn't get punked.
No, not at all. I did think it was
I played with Manny, and I can tell you he wasn't a dirty player. He was a really good dude to be around.
The what was it? Aguilar play at first base in the World Series. That was Bush League. He did that.
It probably was. That one probably was.
Fighting Yordano Ventura, rest in peace. I don't have any issue with that. Throwing the bat at Donaldson, yeah, it was a bad look, but if he wanted to hit Donaldson with the bat, he would have hit him with the bat.
Right.
And he was a kid. Like
I
we're
really
talking
think that
about,
was supposed to go at the pitcher, and he just really missed.
like he was 21 years old. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then everybody says he intentionally went spikes up into oh my gosh, I can't even remember Pedroia. Into Pedroia. That was there's no way. If you watch that
Was he
play in
still at
real time.
Baltimore?
Yeah, he was with Baltimore.
Yeah, but
that was
wasn't that after Scope got absolutely destroyed?
I don't think so.
I thought it was.
I don't think I
I
don't
think
think that.
Scope got destroyed at second, and that was his best friend. And you didn't mess with
Mhm.
Scope, and he went in hard. Again, if that's what I'm thinking of, I don't care.
I
That
remember
was baseball back then.
I remember seeing it happen and people getting like up in arms about it. I'm like, he didn't like he clearly like he went in, his leg hit his foot hit his knee, and he tried to like keep him from falling over. Like
Yeah.
I saw no ill intent there, but because Pedroia's career was basically ended by that play, uh, everybody thinks that it was a dirty play by Manny. I don't think it was dirty at all. Um, let's see. Messina didn't sell his soul. He extended undervalue and told Angelos, "Don't burn me again." And Peter doubled down. That was in response. That's Messina is the name of the country singer, but that's neither here nor there. I just I thought it was funny. I saw that it was spelled with an E and not a U, and I wanted to show the comment. But that's where is here it is. Joe Radke. He wanted that back from New York. Rick. They made an offer. Messina sold his soul. Because Rick was saying that.
Teixeira did the same thing.
Well, but Teixeira did it the way Teixeira did it.
Well, you remember Baltimore had a good contract offer for him, and he said, "I want to go play for a winner," and he went to New York, and I think it was for less money.
I heard that they never extended a contract offer to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
heard
reading that they did.
I from what I heard, like, because I remember my buddy texting me and being like, I have a friend who's friends with Teixeira, and he's gonna. This was like the month of December. He's like, they said that he's gonna sign with Baltimore as a Christmas gift and all that. And I was like, there's no way. What reason would he ever have to sign with Baltimore heading into the 2009 season? Like, there's just no way that that's gonna happen. They had just signed Sabathia and all that, and then he comes out and he's like, I was a Yankee fan. I would come to Camden Yards and I like Don Mattingly. I would wear my Yankees hat when I was a kid going to Camden Yards. From what I remember, they never offered him a contract. That was all the media pushing that, but they never actually offered him a contract.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Media pushes a lot of things around here.
Yeah. Well, today's show, speaking of the media, today's show is brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. Miss anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Maryland football coach Mike Loxley, Navy coach Brian Newberry, and top Orioles prospect Nate George. Find those and many more in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. We're talking about extensions here, and I've heard some fans say that, and I heard the guys on the radio. I heard what is his name? Rob Long and and Ned Norris. Oh my God, my brain is fried today. My daughter got me and my wife sick, and I'm still coming back from that. But I heard them, even those two guys, say on the radio the other day they should extend Dean Kramer. Dean Kramer's start last night was his 12th start where he allowed 4 runs or more this year. He's also got 14 starts where he's allowed 3 runs or less. And it's 12 starts of 2 runs or less because he only allowed 3 runs one time. Last night, he gives up 3 home runs in the first inning. He gives up 5 in that first 5 runs total in that first inning, 7 on the game, even though 2 scored on that play by Mayo where nobody should have scored. I thought it was odd that they pulled Kramer from the game at that point. What was it? After 5 innings, they pulled him from the game?
Yeah.
Because the pitch count was still low. You've got a crap bullpen. Were you thinking the same way I was? I don't know how into the game you were last night. Really big battle back and forth. O's were down 5-0. They tied at 5. They're down 7-5. They tied at 7. They ended up losing 9-8. I thought that they should have left Kramer in. His pitch count was low enough. He probably could have given you 7 innings. And yeah, he's given up 7 runs. 2 of those shouldn't have scored. He's basically given up nothing since the first inning. I took issue with the fact they took him out that soon.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird. And I don't know if they were just realized that just tonight wasn't his night, and they were about to hit that third, fourth time through the lineup kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, what can we say? It wasn't his greatest night. So, I mean, to Rob Long's point, look, Dean Kramer's that guy who we all love to hate, but he's got it in him. But the minute he leaves, he's just gonna figure it out, and then everybody's gonna be pissed off.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the dude posts up. He's on pace for like 180 innings this year.
Yeah, yeah.
He's an innings eater, and when
He's
he's really
got good stuff when he's on,
when
and
he's
that's what
good,
makes
he's
me
really
know.
good.
Right, when he leaves, somehow they're gonna figure out how to make him really good every start. You just know it's gonna happen.
There's gonna be one year where he goes out there, makes 33 starts, and he's gonna win like 17 games with like a 3.30 ERA, and he's gonna get some like middle of the pack votes for Cy Young. He's gonna have just one of those years. But to me, Dean Kramer is the epitome of a number 4 starter. He's gonna give you half of his starts. He's gonna give you 2 runs or better, go 6 or 7 innings, and then the other half of his starts, he's gonna give him 3 runs in 1 inning, give you 6 innings of 4-run ball or something along those lines. Every now and again, he'll give up 5 or 6, but he's going to win 10, 12 games a year, and he's going to pitch to about a 4 ERA. That's what a number 4 is. And
I'd sign up for that all day, every day.
My issue with Dean, and we talked about this a few weeks ago on this very show. It's when he's bad. Like, it's like 4, 5, 6 runs when he's bad, and it's against teams that are straight garbage. Right. like against like the Athletics. How are you getting smoked by the Athletics and you're dominating a team like the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Astros? Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I guess he amps up a little bit.
I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if it's like a mental thing where he just lets down. We talked about it before when he let down. I'm checking it up now for what he's done against teams over 500 because last time it was pretty good. So still against winning teams this year, he's got 14 starts against teams over 500, but just a 3.95 ERA in 82 innings this year, and he's only given up 9 home runs in 82 innings against good teams. Against bad teams, he's got a 5.4 ERA in 70 innings, or 4.48 in 70 innings, and he's given up 12 home runs. Does he just lose focus?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, literally just exactly what you just said. He just struggles against bad teams.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Dean Kramer strikes me as a guy who has to be amped up for a game. Like, I remember seeing him, I think it was maybe against the Nationals or the Twins a couple of years ago. He gave up a long home run, and he was so pissed off about it that he ended up just throwing like 9 straight. I think it was like 12 straight 97-mile-an-hour fastballs and striking out the side after that.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think about his interaction with Basallo coming off the field last night? Did you see that?
Too much into it. Yeah. To me, it looked like they were talking about something else. And it looked like he kind of glanced back at the umpire a little bit. Sammy looked like he cracked a smirk a little bit. I don't think he was yelling at him at all. I think he was visibly upset at maybe some of the calls. He may have said something like, "Hey, did you not see that second runner coming back?" Because I felt like Basallo kind of held that ball a little too long on the second run instead of throwing it to Dean immediately. Because they had Sanchez dead to rights, and I don't know if he just didn't see him or he didn't make eye contact with Dean or what, but he held the ball too long, and maybe they were talking about that. I don't think Dean was yelling at him. I mean, Dean's never yelled at anybody. I don't think it would start now with a rookie. It's just it doesn't strike me as that guy.
Dean also never pulls punches.
Yeah.
He's a great post-game press conference guy. Like, just because he tells it how he sees it, and I love that about him. And when they asked him about his interaction with Basallo, he said he's a young kid. He's still got a lot to learn at the big league level, but I can't miss down the middle of the plate. That's on me, not on him. Which made me think that there maybe was something there. Maybe they couldn't get on the same page with the pitch calling or the location. But you don't. I guess, but you do have to throw a pitch eventually. I mean, you've got what, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Yeah. So I guess that could have something to do with it. I agree with you, though. I think it's much ado about nothing. Just a young kid still learning the game, and a veteran pitcher wanting to be on the same page with his young catcher. Now,
Yeah, they weren't. He wasn't even screaming. Like, there's one thing when you're like visibly upset and the camera picks up on it, but that was like a conversation with maybe like a dirty look. And like, how many people have RBF all day long? I mean, like
this guy,
right? Like
me.
I don't read into that last night,
Dude, I'll be sitting there and somebody will walk by me. I'm like, Jesus, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what? I'm like, oh no, that's just my face. Everybody thinks I'm pissed off all the time. That's just my face. Um, but this rotation, man, like, look, they had a really solid stretch before Houston came to town. They had like a 1.36 ERA over a 10-game span, a 2-something ERA since like July 16th or 26th or something like that. The team had been pitching really well. Now the bullpen leaves much to be desired because there's nobody in that bullpen that really should be in that bullpen. That being said, Bradish is going to start on Tuesday or Wednesday. They said that Wells is coming back to be in the rotation the rest of this year. They don't know the plans for the future with him, but they want him to get 30 to 40 innings in the big leagues to get that arm strength built up. So he's going to be part of their rotation. So now you've got a rotation where you're going to have Trevor Rogers, Kyle Bradish, Tyler Wells, Tomoyuki Sagano, and Dean Kramer the rest of the way. And probably Cade Povich. Because they've talked, I've heard rumblings about a 6-man rotation, and Brandon Young just tweaked his hamstring the other day in his most recent terrible start.
Yeah,
you can win a lot of ball games with a rotation that includes those guys.
Yeah.
And we know what the bullpen is, but if those guys are getting you, and I don't know how deep they're going to let Bradish and Wells go into games. Wells is usually pretty efficient with his pitches, so maybe he gets 6 innings, but only throws 85 pitches. I don't know what they're going to be, what their workload is going to be like, but you're getting 5 solid starting pitchers the last month of the season. They have to go 21-11 the rest of the way to get back to 500. With that pitching staff, I'm not putting it past them to do it. What do you think about the Orioles rotation moving forward?
There's plenty of options for the bullpen. Cade Povich gets lefties out like crazy. That's a bullpen arm there.
I agree.
Cody Petit has some decent stuff. He's better than Corbin Martin. That's another arm that's actually coming back. We didn't talk about. Suarez, we know, gives you quality outings every time he's in the game. I think Tyler Wells, you don't really know what you're going to get out of that. But it'd be good to see. Same with Bradish. Bradish might even get hit around a little bit. Whatever, right? We need him getting his innings in for next year. But this team is definitely capable of moving some guys around and kind of shipping off some of the guys, like you said, shouldn't be here. And I mean, they've got what? I think each one of them have at least 5 or 6 appearances this month so far. That's fairly decent. I mean, not great, but a decent tryout, so to say. So they know what they're going to hold on to and who they aren't. And then, like I said, you just have other options. They could do some weird stuff and win 20-some games here at the end of the season. There's no reason why they shouldn't with this offense. If the offense continues to play semi-decent, and then all of a sudden your pitching starts to get a little bit better. I mean, even it's not great, but more times than not this month, the bullpen's pitched well. I mean, not great, but well.
There's guys out there in that bullpen that Keegan Aiken had what was it, a 6-out save today?
Mm-hmm.
And then Dietrich
and then Rico Garcia the other night.
Oh man, what he did with the bases loaded, man, that was like it was impressive what he did, because you're not expecting it from anybody in this bullpen. Maybe Dietrich ends when he's really going.
No, but that changeup was beautiful.
Oh my God, man, he was so good the other night, and it really sucked that he was that good,
and they took him out,
and then
finish.
Well, but I understood why. But even though I don't agree with most of the stuff that Manzolino says, or at least the way that he says it, I understood why you don't bring him back out, because like you're on that high, you did your job, you kept the lead, and then the next thing, or you kept the ball game tied, And the next thing you know, you bring in, or you kept the lead, and the next thing you know, you bring in Geraldo, and he within 2 batters, he gives it up and literally reloads the bases. It was just absolute garbage out of him.
Oh, they left him out to dry too.
Oh, they
this is all yours, buddy.
But the people in that bullpen, I mean, Dietrich ends with the Orioles. I think he's having a pretty good run.
He's coming back down to earth. He's got a 3.97 coming in today's game. So it might went back down a little bit, but I mean, he's given up 5 in eight games so far, hitting 277 against him. He's coming back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
but the K rate's good. It's at 35%.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 17 strikeouts in 11 1/3 innings. That was at 16 in like 8 innings, or 8 1/3 innings. But at one point, but guy's pitching well. I think that he's at least going to get in the opportunity to maybe pitch for this ball club next year. Assuming, is he a free agent at the end of the season?
Who's that?
I don't think that Dietrich Ems. Let's see.
I think he's got control.
He still has. It says that he's 34 years old, and it says that he has rookie status still intact through 2025.
Yeah. This is his first time up, so he's got 6 years control.
Well, I mean,
so they can send him back to Norfolk.
I mean, he pitched in the majors in 2017 with Minnesota for 2 games, 9 games with Tampa Bay in 2021, and then 15 games this year. So I guess technically he does have rookie status.
This is his rookie season. Yes, he's got 5 years left. So he'll go to Norfolk next year, or at the end of this year, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get an opportunity to make this ball club. I mean, not every reliever that you keep on the big league roster is going to have a 2-something ERA. You know, right. It's just there's going to be one of those guys that's going to pitch to a 4.50 ERA, but he's also going to get some big outs for you. That could be Dietrich Ems. I don't know, but I think he'll get some innings in Baltimore next year.
I'm going to pull up Roger Bale here. He just gave me a $4.99 super chat. Appreciate that, Roger. Thank you very much. I get the feeling Heston and Kobe will get moved this winter. Do you guys agree? Love the show. Appreciate that, Roger. Kobe for sure. I think they're going to listen to Heston. I seen somebody just ask on Twitter about an hour ago, like, hey, was there an update? Because we remember they said like Friday they would maybe like talk about it. There's been dead silence about Heston Kjerstad, and he hasn't played.
They shut him down. Go ahead. What did you hear?
I had heard a rumor that maybe he was going to get glasses or LASIK. I had heard a rumor that maybe his heart issue came back. It's been radio silent on Heston Kjerstad. They did say it was a personal matter, and they were trying to figure out what they could say, but that's been 2 weeks now, and they told us like, oh, it might be Friday that we'll talk about it. Maybe they don't have everything they need to talk about it. I don't know, but it's weird. That whole situation is weird, and the players aren't talking about it. Obviously, they know what's going on. Nothing has gotten out at all, which is typical right. Orioles fashion, but it's just concerning. I mean, you hope for him mentally and physically that he's okay, for starters. But if you have a guy who doesn't even finish the season and then you've been radio silent as to why, you're not trading that. Nobody's going to take that on.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's something as simple as glasses or LASIKs.
Yeah. But he'd been back by now.
All I remember them saying was back, the first week of August, saying he's being shut down for a little bit due to fatigue.
Right.
And
originally when that first came out, I had heard it was a family issue and they weren't going to say anything about it. But again, it's been radio silent since. And I've seen Mike Surratt here said myocarditis is back, but I've heard that rumor, but nobody's come out and admitted it. Like, that's nothing you need to hide from the fans. Like, it's just bad luck. You know what I mean? Like, I think they would have told us by now if that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's deeper than that. So I don't know if it's like something happened with the family and just mentally he's fatigued and just needs to be with his family, or I just feel like if it was myocarditis, they would just been like, he got the shit end of the stick again. Excuse my French. He's got this. We needed to keep him healthy and alive, he's sitting the rest of the season out. For them just to be radio silent is very odd to me.
This is just random. I had a friend who posted today that they got a fortune cookie without a fortune. Also, Laura, that's strange that
It's
happened
bad luck.
to you
No, I'm
too.
just kidding.
But I heard that. They posted this thing that says it's considered nothing. It's not considered good luck or bad luck.
Yeah.
It's just you just didn't get a fortune.
And they won 15.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
but getting the thing is, if it was myocarditis, they can't really discuss that unless he allows them to do it. And
You think?
maybe well,
Like,
it's
wouldn't they
hip-
say something like medically, like he just medically needs to sit out the rest of the year? Like, just them being like radio silent is just weird.
Yeah, I think that maybe he was like, "Look, I'm not ready I'm not ready to face whatever I have to face." And that's what Laura says. If it's a health, my computer's running slow. If it's a health issue, they'd tell us.
They would word salad something to say that he's physically
Right.
not available to play.
Right. To me, when they said that he was being shut down for fatigue, all I read that as was the kid's having some mental struggles,
Yeah.
and he's not. We need to shut him down and let him get his head right.
Is he having actual head issues from that hit by pitch?
And maybe, but again, that's something I think that they would tell us. They would tell us
Maybe
he's experiencing some kind, like maybe it's a mental health thing, and they aren't at liberty to discuss it. I really don't know. It's something that, and like you've been saying on the show, they play everything so close to the vest. With this ball club, we will know when they want us to know. And I feel weird as somebody, as a fan of the team, somebody who follows the team and talks about the team on a weekly basis. I feel weird putting it out, like saying like I have a right to know. I don't have a right to know crap. Like if you don't want me to, if he doesn't want me to know, if you don't want me to know, then I don't have a right to know. I'd like to know. I think I don't know that your fan base deserves to know, but I do think you need to say something like, look, we're just not really at liberty to say right now. Heston doesn't want us to say, or whatever it is. But like, it would be nice to have clarity. But at the end of the day, it's, if he doesn't want people knowing, he doesn't want people knowing.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
My guy, pull that one up there from a deep. I actually want to talk about that because somebody asked me earlier, and I missed their comment, but they asked me my thoughts on him. So I went and watched Levi Wells the other day live, and absolutely electric arm. Absolutely electric. The glove just pops. I mean, he was sitting 98 with the sinker. Little guy, too. Like you would expect. I shouldn't say little. I mean, but we're talking like maybe I should probably, I don't want to call him little and him not be little. So let me see what he actually is here.
6'2", 216.
Doesn't look like that on the mound. We'll just say that. I was thinking maybe
I never want you to see me on the mound because I'm every bit of 5'7".
Well, it doesn't help that you have like Blake Money, who's like 6'5", 6'6". Yeah, doesn't help it. He doesn't look 6'2" on the mound. Let's just put it that way. But he's throwing 98. And the arm is absolutely electric. The curveball is really good. It's got a really nice bite to it. The four seam, I don't know if they were mislabeling it, but it was only at 92. Wasn't too big of a fan of that. That one got hit pretty hard, and the slider got hit pretty hard a couple times, and it's a good pitch. I was telling the guy that I was with there, when you're throwing 98, his slider was only at 84, 85. That's, even if it's a good pitch, it's just too slow. It's too much time for them to make that adjustment. You're talking 13, 14 miles an hour. That's good for a curveball, but for a slider that already has like that fastball spin to it, unless it's really biting, it's going to get hit. I'd love to see him get that to about 90. And if he did, like, I think he'd be devastating out of the bullpen. Like, he's got an electric arm. And he's young, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
23. Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I went to a minor league game. I think it was probably 2019.
Yeah.
It was the last time I went to a minor league game.
I want to start going more because they were fun. They were fun.
Oh, they're a blast.
Yeah.
They're a blast.
I see Sean here ask me the game that Avern Vern put his 80 grade display or 80 grade speed on display. It was fun. A perfect, and I'm talking textbook perfect left on left bunt. It had a nice high chop, and it made its way to where second base should be, right past the pitcher. No play at first base. Steals second base with absolute ease, and then just dances and toys with the guy and steals third with ease. He ended up stealing 4 bags total that night. He was
Wow.
electric, absolutely electric, and he's got fast hands. Now the guy they were facing, the lefty, was really good. He had like a sub 2.5 ERA. He was good. Tough matchup, and it's why Bradfield, Creed, and I forget who else I really wanted to see, but they were all out. The only Ethan Anderson played because he's switchy, but I think Vern was the only lefty. I think I could be wrong. There's only 2, and then Estrada obviously went on the IL too. But they got some good players there now. So I was kind of criticizing them earlier this year with the lack of OPS. The hitting was pretty terrible, but now they're really starting to kind of accumulate a good amount of talent there, and they're going to be a pretty damn good team.
It seems like every team is kind of taking a step forward across the board in the organization recently. I think Norfolk at one point won like 16 to 21.
I think they had too many guys spread out, and now you're starting to see them all kind of stack up. Because you had a lot of guys, a lot of good pitching in A-ball, and like nothing in Norfolk, and then you had it almost seemed like good hitting but no pitching in Bowie, and now it's all kind of coming together, and then Delmarva is just lighting it up with all the draft picks, and Aberdeen's lighting it up. I mean, Michael Ferret, again today dominated. Like, who do you pick for minor league pitcher of the year between Trey Gibson and Michael Ferret? Now, Gibson obviously has gone more levels at higher levels, but if Ferret being 21 years old and already in Double-A dominating, like, now Gibson's 23. Who do you give your minor league player of the year to? Pitcher of the year, I should say.
I honestly, I don't follow it enough to know. I would assume it was Trey Gibson. I think Braxton Bragg was
He would have been right there too.
Yeah, or he had it. Yeah, I think he was on his way there, but I haven't heard of or seen enough of these guys.
So Gibson is 5-5 with a 3.07 ERA. Again, I think he's been through. He started in Aberdeen, so 3 levels here: 99 innings pitched, 147 strikeouts with a 1.01 WHIP. Now Ferret is how many teams? He's only been on 2 teams this year, so Aberdeen and now Bowie. 2-2 with a 1.28 ERA and 70 innings with 88 Ks and a 0.78 WHIP. Again, at 21 years old. So, and I think with Ferret being a little younger, they're definitely he's on a much lower pitch count than Gibson would be. But both of them are really just throwing the ball well this year.
It sounds like it, and it goes to, you've been saying this since last offseason, that there's some pitchers in this organization that people aren't talking about that we're going to put themselves on the map this year. And sure enough, they have. And for the cupboard being as bare as it was just a couple of years ago, there's some guys who are really stepping up for this organization down on the farm that could be here. Some of them as early as next year, some of them maybe 2027, 2028, but there's a lot of arms, not to mention a lot of guys you could trade to get big league impact arms. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on at the minor league level right now. I wish I was more in tune with it. It's funny, when the Orioles were terrible, I knew a lot about their minor league system because that's where all the big players were, and now that they've gotten good, and this year notwithstanding, you stop paying attention to the minor leagues. And I told myself I didn't want to do that, but that sure enough, that's what happened. Maybe becoming a father and having basically 3 jobs and all that. It's like I only have so much attention for baseball, where it's like it's going to be the Orioles and everything else kind of.
That's fair. Yep.
But luckily, I've got you on the show and you pay attention to all of it, so you can talk about it whenever we need to. Today's show brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. If you're feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself, it could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, they specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. You can call Game Day Men's Health at 3 different locations Owings Mills, 443-264-4454. At Columbia at 443-266-3505. Or Frederick at 240-931-3717. Or visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com and ask them about a complimentary testosterone test. Anything else that you want to get into before we start to kind of wrap things up here today, man?
No, I was actually just looking at the next time Ferret was going to pitch, and it's going to be on, looks like Tuesday, up in Reading. Wouldn't mind going up to that actually, but
Have they announced when Bradish is going to be
Tuesday.
pitching for the Orioles? It's Tuesday he's pitching? And I'm excited.
Tuesday's
for
what,
that.
the 26th?
Yeah, the 26th.
Yeah. So then they said Wells, I think, was going to get what did he say, the 31st? Is it the first?
They said that he wouldn't pitch before September.
So he's going to make
1st,
another minor league start then, probably.
Yeah, they said that he was 1 week behind Bradish.
That's fair.
So if Bradish is going Tuesday, Wells will be going the following Monday, I believe.
And then Suarez
it
is
sucks
not
because
long after that, right?
Yeah, I think he's a week or two behind Wells.
Is that what it is?
Maybe a week behind Wells. I think he was 2 weeks behind Bradish and a week behind Wells. So, and if he's going to be pitching in relief, it's probably not as much of a ramp up as those other guys. And he's not coming off of like Tommy John surgery. He's coming off of that scapula. Was it a scapula?
Something weird on the shoulder, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about the fact that Bautista, it was announced since our last show, Bautista out 12
He's never going to throw a pitch again.
12? No. You don't think so?
He'll try.
Torn rotator cuff.
He'll try. He'll never make it back.
You really don't think so?
No. Shoulders are death sentence for high velocity arms. And now you're tearing the two most major ligaments in the shoulder.
Tearing both
at the same time. I had labrum done, and it was 10 months until I could even throw hard. Like, I could throw around 6 months, but I'm talking like, we're talking a full year until I can get back into the upper 90s again. Like, it took me a long time, and I was just a catcher. You're asking a guy who used to throw 100 miles an hour to kind of get back to that point. He's not going to get back to that point. And then you add the rotator cuff in with it, like, his range of motion is going to be awful. And this is a guy that literally throws, like, straight up. He's not going to get there anymore. So his arm angle is going to change. The velocity is going to drop. He might pitch again, but he's never going to be a decent pitcher again.
That sucks, man. I mean, and that's the thing. I kind of assumed when I heard 12 months, they tore both the rotator cuff and the labrum. I was like, if he pitches again, he's never going to be the same.
Labrum itself is like almost career ending for most high velocity guys. But then you throw the rotator cuff in with it, like, I just want to know what happened. And somebody asked me if I thought, like, remember he was out for, like, was it like 10 days or something like that, and they had him throw like 34 pitches. I really don't think you're tearing both of those muscles or ligaments pitching 34 pitches after 10 days. I really don't, because you're throwing flat grounds and stuff like that. Something else had to have happened.
Well, and that's the thing, is because he was warming up and then let them know, hey, I'm not available.
Right.
So it happened while he was warming up in the bullpen.
That's just weird to me. I think he tried to go through it.
But that's the thing. Like, that doesn't just happen while you're warming up. There's wear and tear on that shoulder. And it makes you wonder, how did
I tore mine lifting? Like, that's how most people do it. Like, something jerks your arm back, or lifting and like bench pressing, and you go down too far and it pops. Like, I don't think throwing a baseball tears both of those at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm definitely saying I'm very curious at what happened.
Well, and this is the same medical staff that told Tyler O'Neill, you can keep working out the same way that you've always wanted to work out. Boston didn't let him do that last year. He played over 100 games and he had over 30 home runs. You know, like, is there any chance that this medical staff is still here next year?
If they are, we're going to be in the same position we're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible what's happened with this ball club. 29 guys have gone on IL. You have a 26-man roster, and you've had 29 dudes on the IL.
Wasn't Manchin
this year.
the franchise record for like 60? Was he 63rd or 64th player of the year?
Yeah, he was yeah,
This franchise record.
I think he was the 60. I think he was the
Was it?
65th.
Either one. I mean,
Something like that.
anytime you're
But yeah,
above 60,
they
you're really big trouble anyway.
yeah, I remember watching the Buckle Up Birds DVD. I got it at that at FanFest in 2012
Rest in
after
peace,
2020
FanFest.
after 2012 season. Oh man, I loved
FanFest was a good
FanFest.
time.
I loved it. It was fun. Um, and I remember watching it that night, and when the credits were going through at the end, it's saying, "Thank you to all 52 players who set foot on the field for the Baltimore Orioles this year." And I remember thinking to myself, 52, that's a ton of players. And the Orioles they've used like 12, 13 more guys than that this year. Like that's a
6 of them are
lot of
catchers.
players. I mean, seven.
Yeah, seven.
Seven. Basallo's
Yeah.
the seventh. You know, 7 catchers, 29 guys on the IL, 65 players that have been on your roster at some point
incredible.
this year. Just absolutely crazy. Like
I got a little mad at
man.
Mancelino the other day, and I probably shouldn't have, but I did. And when he made that comment, it was like, "Oh, it was about Batista. We have really good medicals here, and blah blah blah, and really great staff." And I'm just like, dude, how out of touch are you? Like,
Right.
Everyone and their mother has been complaining about your medical and training staff all season long. Like, that's just something you want to sit out. Like, just don't even bring it up. You might think that personally, just don't bring it up. Don't say that publicly.
It was, yeah. I saw you post like how out of touch.
I was so mad.
Man, I can't wait for him to be gone. And I heard John Heyman say today they were talking about managerial openings for the offseason, and Laura Shahadi asked him, which of these guys that are listed as the interim manager right now do you think return? And he mentioned the Rockies is one, and I can't remember who the other team was, but it was another team that's
Pittsburgh.
really bad. And he said, yeah, it was Pittsburgh. It was Pittsburgh. And then he's like, I think that the Orioles are going to do a wide managerial search. I think Mancelino will be considered. He could be back. And I was like, man, he better not be. He better not be. I just don't think you can. You have to get somebody. And then he mentioned Skip Schumacher has been linked to the Orioles.
Mancelino's he's fine. Like, the team's played hard for him, and I appreciate that. He's kept positivity up in the clubhouse in a bad season, which he's done a fine job. I hate to even say it, but I don't even want him in the organization anymore.
Well, he won't be.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing. When they get a new manager, he won't be here.
He's a nice guy, but like I started to look at him, like I didn't realize that he was the infield coach since 2021. And we've talked about ourselves. Our infield defense has gotten worse every single year. Gunnar Henderson's playing really well right now, but overall, pretty much across the board, the infield defense has gotten worse than what we were used to, even with the bad teams. And I just feel like, if you're the guy who we're kind of seeing all that stuff, like, what use are you right now? I don't want to be that negative about it, but that's just kind of how I feel. Like, at this point, just start
I just
all over.
think that they've got one chance to get this right, and I don't think that they get it right if they.
How long is Mike Elias's leash? If they clean house and start over and we suck again, do you think he's fired before June?
I don't think that I think there's a greater than zero chance that he's fired at the beginning of the off season. I think that there's a greater than zero chance on that. Although the fact that they let him be at the helm for the Basallo signing says that that's probably not the case. But if they suck again next year, he's not going to be here. He's the next guy on the chopping block. That's not like point. Tony Mancelino. But today's show brought to you by the new print issue of Press Box, which is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens running back Derrick Henry and how his success after 30 has proved he's a unicorn at the position. Also inside, we profile college football players from the teams all across the state. You can find the new issue all throughout the region, including at 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here today?
Nope. I kept kind of falsely telling you guys the O's were going to make the playoffs this year. I apologize. They're not, but it's been fun trying.
Yeah, I mean, if they win the rest of their games, they could do it.
Yeah.
If they win the rest of their games, 92-70 will get it done.
They definitely would.
All right. So next week, like 99% sure we're not going to have a show next week because it's Labor Day. Just have to talk to the powers that be. But I talked to one of them, and it seems like we're good to go with that. When we come back in 2 weeks, we will be in a new time slot. We haven't quite. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag before we have it confirmed totally, but good chance we're moving back to 10 a.m. on Saturdays during football season. But we will certainly let you know. So stay tuned on social media for that once we have that available. Because let's be honest, the first game of the Ravens game of the year is exactly when we would be on. Nobody's watching our show, nor do we want to do one during that. And then all the football coverage that Press Box does 8:30 on Sunday nights just isn't going to get it done. So chances are we're moving back to 10 a.m. on Saturdays, but we will definitely let you know this coming week once we have that set in stone. That's going to do it for us here on the Bat Around. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we do not have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, viewers, and fans. Without you, we 100% do not have a show. Have a great Labor Day next week,